Welcome to Secrets Unlocked. If you enjoy intimate confessions and forbidden stories, check the private archive linked in the description. Subscribe, settle in, and enjoy the story. All my existence, I wanted to remain one of the faceless masses. I did my very best to blend in, never standing out, never drawing attention to myself. Every day starts the same. I wake up, I shower, I wrap my thick, jet black, mid-shoulder length hair into a severe bun, don my drab, shapeless black dress, and head off to work. Yes, contrary to popular belief, I do have a job. I'm a librarian at the main branch. It's quiet, not too many people bother me, and it gives me an opportunity to brush up on some reading. Sitting at my desk, I quickly scanned over my calendar. "Oh no," I whispered. "What's wrong, Elspeth?" Louise asked. Louise is one of my coworkers. Nice-looking older woman, not spectacular, but what she lacked in looks, she more than made up with her loving personality. "Oh, nothing, Louise. I just realized today was Halloween," I said, smiling thinly. Louise nodded, knowing what I meant. Every Halloween, the library is flooded with nutcases trying to find spell books to conjure spirits and screaming costume-clad children demanding candy. Good day, ladies," Mr. Parker said, clearing his throat. He was the branch manager. Translation, major egomaniac asshole. "Hello, Mr. Parker, how are you?" Louise asked cheerfully. He simply cocked his head, not bothering to speak to her. What a bastard, I thought to myself. "Well, Ms. Munro, I see good manners are obviously not part of you vocab," he said, examining his fingernails. "Well, Mr. Parker, that's a matter of opinion. Good manners recognizes good manners," I said crisply. Screw him, he's just mad I wouldn't do what he demanded. He's hated me ever since. "Anyway," he said, ignoring the comment, "I won't be needing two of you to work tonight. And after careful consideration, I decided that, Elspeth, you'll be working the Halloween night alone. Enjoy. Louise, I want you clocked out and gone by 4 o'clock on the dot. Understand?" "Are you sure, Mr. Parker? Halloween is usually a hectic night," Louise started to say. "I thought you got your hearing checked, old woman. I said be gone by 4. This discussion is over," he said, storming off. Louise's face crumpled, breaking my strong resolve. I took her body in my arms, hugging her tight. "Oh, Elspeth, how can he speak to me like that? I've been working here for almost 20 years and no one has ever treated me like that," she wailed. "SHH, don't cry, Louise. I'll take care of everything, you'll see. I promise, okay," I said, blotting her tears with a Kleenex. "How, Elspeth, how are you going to handle this? He treats you like garbage, too," she cried. "Don't worry about it. Just do as I say and everything will be fine." Thankfully, it didn't take much convincing. Louise is a sweet woman, but she is incredibly naive. I simply convinced her to cover my shift and let me worry about the rest. By the time 4 rolled around, I had Louise punch out and go home and told her to return by 6. I overheard Mr. Parker telling his wife that he'd be working late helping out with the Halloween rush. Then he called his mistress telling her that he would meet her at the masquerade ball. This was working out more perfectly than I had ever imagined. I waited until Mr. Parker left before I snuck into his office and called his mistress. "Hello," she sang into the phone. "Who is this?" This Candy. Who's this?" she giggled. I could envision her mindless giggles, twirling her overly bleached blonde hair around her finger. "This is Evelyn Parker. You do know who I am, don't you?" Silence. I don't know you or your husband," she gushed. I swear, for someone who has an overly inflated image of self, Mr. Parker sure knows how to pick them. "Don't lie to me, bitch. I know all about you. And I suggest you stay away from my husband or else. I know where you live, what you look like, and where you work. If you don't stay away from him, I will make you life a living hell." Okay, I didn't know he was married. Well, I did know, but he said that he was getting a divorce. But I'm supposed to be meeting him at a party tonight," she whined. "Are you really this stupid? I said stay away." Not tomorrow, not next week, but now, understand. I have a gun and I know how to use it, and by the time the police find your lifeless body, the only way they'll be able to identify it is by those silicone implants. Oh my God, please don't kill me. I swear I'll stay away for good, she cried. Good, now listen to me very carefully. I'm going to call you back every 15 minutes on the hour, and the first time the phone rings more than 3 times, I'm coming over to your house and it will not be pretty. Understand? Yes, yes, I understand, she sobbed. I softly cradled the phone. Now that that's taken care of, all I had to do was give Louise her final instructions and I was all set. Like clockwork, Louise showed up and I told her to simply call Candy as scheduled, telling her to pretend to be Mrs. Parker. She didn't ask any questions, thankfully. I rushed home, changing out of my work clothes. I brushed my hair out, letting it cascade down my shoulders. I put on a black outfit with a matching mask and headed out. It didn't take me long to reach the party. I didn't have an invitation, but I just strolled in. Fending off several unwanted suitors, I quickly found Mr. Parker. He stuck out like a sore thumb, wearing a loud Austin Powers costume, not to mention doing a lousy job impersonating him. "Hi there," I said to him. "Yeah, baby, yeah," he managed to say. I could smell the booze seeping from his skin. "Here alone or waiting for someone?" I asked. "Well, I'm waiting for you." I grabbed a fresh drink from the waiter, slipping a mild sedative in. "Here, one for the road," I said to him as I gave him the drink. He downed it in one gulp. After a few moments, it was clear the drug was working, so I lead him outside and into an awaiting cab. He passed out for the majority of the ride. I had my little helpers waiting for my arrival. They helped my sleeping boss inside the house and out of that tacky costume. By the time he regained consciousness, he was shackled to a chair. "What the hell is going on here?" he asked. "Quiet in the peanut gallery. The show is about to begin." My voice boomed over the intercom. Slowly, the curtains were drawn back and a spotlight shone on the stage. It took a few moments for Mr. Parker's to focus on the stage. "Evelyn," he shouted. His wife was center stage, caught in a compromising position with a helper of mine. "Evelyn, oh my God, what are you doing?" he screamed in anguish. Mr. Parker could only watch in absolute horror as his wife completely gave in to the situation, leaving him forced to witness her betrayal. "You fucking bitch!" he spat at her as he watched another man take what he had been denied for years. He struggled violently against his bonds, sweating profusely. The room was filled with his shrill screams. Albert was forced to watch his wife completely give in to the humiliating spectacle, leaving him in absolute agony. "Go back on the stage, darling. Bishop, please escort our guest to the stage." Now you must understand, Bishop is an X-wide receiver, nothing but pure muscle. Standing about 6'11", 328 pounds, cute dreadlocks and a goatee. Suffice to say, no matter how much struggle Albert put up was like a flea trying to fight an elephant. He was on stage in no time. "Thank you, my darling Bishop. Please take care of Evelyn while I buzz in my call." "Yes, my queen," Bishop said, his deep voice rumbling in his chest. Albert could only watch and sob softly as he watched his wife of 20 years completely lose herself in the situation. "Now don't think I forgot about you, Albert. Michael, please join our guests on the stage." Michael was another fave of mine. She was a statuesque blonde with long legs and the most gorgeous baby blue eyes that I have ever seen. She sashayed on the stage. Looks like someone is happy to see Lil Olmy," Michael cooed. Despite watching his wife, Albert found himself completely at the mercy of the unfolding situation. I zoomed the camera in closer for this particular part of the show. "Mama's gonna make you feel all better," she said. Albert gave in to the confrontation, shouting angrily at his wife. His angry words fell on deaf ears as Evelyn ignored everything else around her. When Michael was satisfied, she stood up. She looked over her shoulder. The intimate interaction between them finally concluded. As soon as I was sure that he was finished, I got back on the mic. "Michael, honey, stand up if you would." Bishop stopped for a moment, all eyes on Albert. I waited until everyone had followed my instructions before I continued. "Evelyn, dear, kneel in front of Michael, Bishop. Stand behind Evelyn." I made sure that I had ample tape left before I finished. "Very good, my lovelies. Now, Albert, I want you to look very carefully. Michael, my love, remove you thong." I watched as Michael complied. I think Albert must have turned 2 shades whiter than his natural color as it hit the floor, revealing that Michael was anatomically a man. "Oh God, oh God," Albert kept chanting over and over again in complete shock. "Michael, my love, you have a choice. You can either deal with his wife or you can deal with him. Which would you like?" "Actually, my queen, if I can be a lil greedy, can I humiliate him while his wife takes her turn with me?" "But what about poor Bishop? What will he do while you have your cake and eat it too?" "My queen, he can join us too." Evelyn giggled. "Wonderful. Bishop, will you please fetch Michael's pacifier? Michael, get Albert ready." Albert tried to fight Michael off, but what she lacked in strength, she made up with extensive knowledge of pressure points. One well-placed pinch and Albert was as helpless as a babe. Michael had Albert secured to the chair, with his hands strapped to the legs. She waited for Bishop to finish securing the thick strap-on harness to Evelyn. "My queen, if it is all the same, I'd like to keep out of this for the moment," Bishop said. "But of course, my precious. Come keep your queen company while Michael plays." I love Bishop. He's been with me for as long as I can remember. I don't care how many women he screws, I'm the only one he makes love to. Besides, I knew that this confrontation was not his scene. Feeling the tension build, thousands of more private stories are waiting in my exclusive archive. The link is in the channel description. He's the only one who has the discretion to leave a scene. "Bishop, clean yourself first, then join me." I knew he hated watching Michael perform, so letting him bathe and get himself prepared for me was much more to his liking. Once he was gone, I turned my attention back to the task at hand. "Michael, you may begin." "Please don't do this," Albert whimpered. "Oh, please let me, Michael," Evelyn pleaded. "I have been dreaming of a moment like this forever. I want to be the one to humiliate this bastard. God knows he's been humiliating me for years with all his cheap bimbos and whores." "By all means, Evelyn, he's all yours," Michael said, stepping aside. "Besides, there are far worse ways to humiliate him. You take your turn and I'll take mine," she said, gripping a handful of his hair, yanking his head up. "If you bite me, I swear to God by the time I'm done with you, you'll wish you were never born," Michael threatened, using her manly voice. "Evelyn, for the love of God, don't do this," Albert howled as Evelyn unceremoniously began her retaliation. I didn't think Evelyn had it in her to be so vicious as she humiliated him. "Did you hear me? You son of a bitch, I'm gonna humiliate you," Evelyn cried out. "Isn't ironic, Albert? You wanted to be the one ramming his cock in Evelyn's ass until you came. Who would have ever thought it would have been the other way around?" I said, taunting him. Tears mixed with sweat poured down Albert's face as the intense ordeal continued. Evelyn delivered her final strike before she stopped. "Michael, please remove your toy and release Albert." Michael nodded her head as she obeyed my command. The Parker collapsed onto the floor, both drenched in sweat. "Thank you for your participation. Show's over." I turned my mic off as I waited to see what would happen next. Bishop walked up behind me, massaging my shoulders. "My queen, did everything go as you planned?" he asked. Bishop, you did wonderfully tonight. You deserve a treat. Tell your queen what you would like." After everything that happened on stage, Bishop and I shared a private, intimate moment together, letting the adrenaline of the broadcast finally subside. Vaguely, as things calmed down, I heard the conversation taking place on stage. How could you do this to me? How could I do this to you? What about the things you've done to me? You thought you could fuck everything in a skirt behind my back and it would be okay. Eve, I never wanted things to turn out like this. You stupid son of a bitch, you just can't admit you were wrong, can you? Well, let me tell you something. Every time you were out with your bimbos, I've been here, letting stud after stud be with me knowing that you would never do it. How does it feel knowing that? She said, taunting him. Night after night, I waited for you to come home, not knowing what you or who you were doing. Then out of the blue, I got a letter in the mail, telling me to come here that all my questions would be answered. I saw tape after tape of you with your slut at the library. Listened to the phone calls of you and her laughing at how I would never find out. I cried my heart out, and then my queen saved me. She gave me a purpose again. She made me feel like a woman again. She gave me to countless men, and I let them do all the things you wanted to do to me, and then I came home to you. I knew every time you left her house you showered, but I never did. Every time you kissed me, you tasted all of them. Eve, oh Eve, he cried, what are we going to do? You can keep on going to your slut, and I'll keep being my queen's toy. Either way, you get what you want and I get what I want. But I don't want you with these men. Then give up your bitches, Albert. It's as simple as that. But I'm a man. I'm not supposed to be faithful like you are to be. Let me get this straight. I'm supposed to be faithful, while you go with everything in sight. Yes, Eve, that's the way it's supposed to be, but now you fucked it up. He spat as he tried to get up. The physical aftermath of the ordeal blazed across his face. How are you feeling, Albert? Evelyn asked, narrowing her eyes. His jaw dropped in shock as he was reminded about what happened. Now you listen to me, Albert. Things are going to change. You do what you want to do, and I'll do the same. I strongly suggest you don't fuck with me because I have your position compromised, and I mean that literally. She picked up the discarded device, reminders of his humiliation still visible as she walked off the stage. 3 months later, things have changed dramatically since Halloween. True to my word, I took care of everything for Louise. Albert had tried to come back to work as the pompous asshole he had always been, trying to make our lives a living hell. 2 days later, I had Bishop drop off a package for Albert at the library. As soon as he set eyes on Bishop, Albert began sweating. Opening the box, Albert cried as he looked at pictures of the encounter. At the time, he didn't know the full extent of the photographic evidence. But the pictures spoke volumes, showing him with his head thrown back in a compromising position. And as if the pictures weren't enough, the device was in the bottom of the box with a note attached. If you think you can make life hell for others, know that I still have total leverage over you. Albert quit 3 days later, which of course allowed Louise to take over. Louise is a terrific boss. She's a joy to work for. She helps out a lot at the front desk, not to mention even went to bat for us to get a raise. We were cataloging the latest books that were delivered to the library when she turned to me and said, Elspeth, I don't know if I ever thanked you for whatever it was you did, but thank you. Louise, didn't I tell you I would take care of things? No need to thank me. Trust me when I tell you it was my pleasure. Not to mention Bishop's, Michael's, and of course Evelyn's, but I didn't tell her that. I hope you enjoyed this story. More intimate confessions are waiting in the private archive linked in the description. Subscribe for the next story.